Thank you. Yeah, thanks for being here, all of you. I hope that you're not too tired to listen. If you get too tired, ask questions. I'm open for that as well, also during the session. Been in the business for a long time. Actually, I've been in Agfa since 1988. So, been away a couple of times. My last getaway was at Heidelberg, but that was only for a few months. Then I came back to Agfa. There was a big thing to talk about workflow because that's a huge area. And we as Agfa is in the last section in the pre-press department, most of it, and what's around that, not what other presenters have shown today. So I cannot give you a demonstration because that will take much longer than 6 hours or 30 minutes. Last one I did was it last week? It took 6 hours for a customer, and it was only based on questions he had for 6 hours. So it was a very intense demonstration. But I'm also going to talk about generally what is needed for integration, and of course I'm going to talk about our products, that's for sure. So why do we need to integrate? Is it the customers, the print buyers that requires this? Not directly, but they want things cheaper and faster, and they don't really care about what plate price is, what paper prices is, or whatever. So they are driving your business anyway, but they don't ask for automation. You have to earn some money, and you could do that by doing integration and automation. So MIS systems, a lot of them in the market. We at Agfa, we don't have any solution for that. So we like to cooperate with them, and we don't care who it is. Even Heidelberg will be an option for us as well. This is a market that is huge. As I put on the slide, there's more than 40 different MIS vendors. And which one are good, which ones are bad, it's not up to me to judge that, but it's a huge amount of them. And also to be able to integrate with them requires some tools. A friend told me that there was a company in Germany that was trying to count just in Germany how many MIS vendors there were, and they stopped when they reached 30. So just for one country, there is more than 30 players in the market. So it can be difficult to integrate to all of them, of course. If you look at the pre-press vendors, Agfa, of course, and the other ones that I mentioned here, Heidelberg, Kodak, that's a lot less. So it's us that have to adapt to the needs of the MIS. If we then look at for the offset, that's the one I mentioned. Then we have for design and display. There are also other players in the market. Usually a lot smaller, not as huge as the other systems. We have, as Agfa, also cover the inkjet market as well. So, how to go on with this? It's like the zebras. They all have different stripes. There's not one that is equal, but basically, they're all still zebras. So, we need to adapt. Even though we are different, we need to adapt to common things that make sense in the production. What does it require? It requires some form of discipline. Otherwise, it will never work. Because if everybody has an opinion during a production, then you have no discipline. That does not work. So it's a teamwork between those that are doing the integration, and that's the customer itself, the print company, the supplier of the MIS system, and obviously also the supplier of the workflow. So it's very much a teamwork, no fight between those three in the team, never going to work. So teamwork is the key to success in this case. And to avoid all the chaos that it brings, no shuffling around with things. You have to be uniform, have to be, not for all jobs of course, but in general to automate things, it have to be clear rules. The thing that is needed is the management in the company, the printing company, have to be 100% behind this. Otherwise, it does not work. If just one person in a printing company say, I don't bother, I do it the old way, then the battle is lost. You really have to be focused on it. So, again, the team have to decide where to put their effort. They have to get the discipline right. They have to control. The team is the leading thing in get things to work. Rules have to be defined. Your expectations have to be set before you go ahead. You have to agree in the group, in the team, what to achieve at the end of this. Not that there will be the final one, but it's crucial to make it work. So how do we actually do it? There's different ways. We have heard a lot of different ways to do it today. Moving files was one of the comments. That's true. Files have to move around from the customers to the final product. But JDF, XML, CSV, or just basic hot folders, that's all things that is possible today. In what combination, again, that's up to each company that wants to do integrations in cooperation with his suppliers. What suits you as a customer, print buyer, not the print buyer itself, but the printer? We as Agfa cannot determine what is best for you, but we will look at it together with you to see where you can gain efficiency. We have already a lot of integrations worldwide in Europe. We are also part of the CIP4 organization as a member, and in that case you can see on their homepage a matrix of all the different vendors, both for workflow and for MI systems, what they can do. What you see there is not always updated, because they only meet a couple of times a year for interrupts, and that we also participate in those. Seen from Agfa, if a MIS vendor want to integrate to us, they need some tools. So we provide them with a bunch of sample files. They are, of course, pointing at the way Agfa works, the options that we have inside our workflow, because they are tools for those that have JDF connectivity already, that are basic ones from the CIP4 organization. But what we also provide is an online tool, so before we actually start integrating, we can check the JDF files before, so we can see if it works or not. And that is also something that we can give to the MIS vendors if they ask for it. It's nothing that we just give away for free. It is for free for the MIS vendors, but we have to validate them if they are interested or not. That is done through Belgium, our headquarter. As I mentioned before, the interrupts, that's the organization CIP4, is giving every year? Does everyone know interrupts? I know there's one in March. That will be in Copenhagen. I'll be present, and that one, for instance. And that's interrupt. There will be testing between all different systems. Heidelberg will be there, Kodak will be there. Maybe not 40 MIS vendors, but there will be some MIS vendors for sure. So going ahead with the system again, we need a clear roadmap. It is, again, very, very important to do it. Set a goal where you want to go. Agree with that before you start. So it's difficult, and should you enter, I don't think you have any choice. So yes, you have to go there. That's the only way to earn some money today. Is it difficult? Yes. It will be uphill sometimes, but you have to keep moving on. It will work at the end. And there will be bumps with troubles. But again, we are human beings. We are very good at adapt to things. So that's not an issue either. And the obstacles, yeah, they will be there as well. But we have to steer around them or find other solutions. And it will be flying at the end, so that you can be efficient and save some time. and maybe earn some more money. That will be the goal of it. So how can we as Agfa help with all this? We have a big portfolio of software. This slide is, for the first, if you see it for the first time, it's very confusing, I can imagine. But we have our prepress in the lower right corner. That's what we call our hub. And that is the one that will connect to all the other systems. So the MIS, we have kept it quite small here because we don't have one, so we don't need to show that much. We go straight to the presses with the ZIP3 files. We have digital presses. We have the white format, sign and display options. We have to go to the cutters. We can also go to the cutters for compo cut, the Polar ones, so for the offset business. And then we have our storefront. That is a web-to-print e-commerce system. We have PrintSphere, more about that, file sharing system with some automation built into it. We have web approval, online approval of pages, and we have Webflow, and that's a new one. That's a web-based client instead of using a native client. All top one, they are cloud-based, so there are no investment in hardware or anything like that. It's cloud-based only. Apogee itself can actually also be cloud-based today. So you can either have cloud-based, or you can have subscription, or cloud-based subscription as well. So it's don't need to invest in the hardware and all the modules that you might need. And there is, I promise you, a lot of modules to a workflow. And I don't have time today to go into all of them, unfortunately. So I can easily spend 6 hours, as I told you in the beginning. Not a problem. But I'll start slowly with each of these products. The first one is PressTune. That's a new product to our portfolio. Are any of you aware of PressSign from Bodoni? Yeah, we acquired that company this year, and now we have this software product, and we have renamed it to PressTune. It's basically the same. There are some more options towards Apogee, of course, and other systems. And what is more interesting is it's not a software that we sell. It's part of our plate deal for you to optimize your production. So we're going to help you with optimizing your presses and help you on a daily basis with this software. It's not a software Agfa employees going to use on a daily basis at your site. It will be yourself that will maintain the quality of your presses. Of course, if you have big new presses, a lot of this will be built in, but for the older ones, they don't have it. Then we have a solution that can help. We also use it to create press curves, so we can maintain the ISO standard towards the printing. And we get all these different scores. You see here the TVI curve. If you're using the whole color bar of the press sheet, we can see how the inks are on the presses. So what is more interesting is how does it work in an automated way? Because it can also send feedback into the pre-press system itself. So we have a PressTune system, and we have the pre-press system. Pre-press is the one that creates the plates, so we'll also create the ZIP3 files. And that is sent to the press for the first. Setup, it looks easy, but it's have to be very specific way to do it for all the presses. Then the press will either online measurement or offline measurement, depending on the presses, of course, send back data to the PressTune. It'll read the LAB values. Those values will be evaluated with PressTune. It will give a score on how good it is compared to the ISO standard. All the information about if it's coded or uncoded or all the grades, that is part of the ZIP3 file that comes to the press. But also from Apogee, we send a JDF file to PressTune for it to be able to pick up the data automatically. So all these have to match together. That's a thing that we have to set up correctly as Agfa. And then the score can obviously be read if you have the normal press-tune client, but it can also be read directly into Apogee prepress system itself, and also the client that I mentioned before, the browser-based one. So, next one, storefront, web-to-print solution. Everybody has that these days. The nice things with ours is, of course, it is Agfa's. We have the integration. The integration means that we can create JDF files from storefront automatically into the prepress system. So anybody is not familiar with web-to-print, I don't have to go into details with this, otherwise you can look me up afterwards. Of course, we have both support for offset, digital, and wide format. Even that, if like, let's say, where is the break-even between digital and offset, we'll calculate that and select that production inside Apogee automatically. So don't need to have two different setup in a storefront solution, web-to-print. For the, let's say, the wide format ones, it's also automated. So everything that is ordered as a product that have to be produced, it will automatically create a job inside Apogee. If we have set it up correctly, or if you want to do it automatically, it can start printing on the presses or on the digital printers. So yeah, all that is an interface towards the print buyers. It can be what we call a public store, so it can be the printer itself, or it can be business to business. That depends. There's a different licensing the way we can do it. And this is a huge slide with a lot of presentations on it, but the modules that we have is not that big. We only have 3 different modules based on how much data is needed. And we have online editor, so the Chili guy that was here earlier, that's incorporated inside Apogee storefront for online document creation. The pre-flight itself, there's built-in pre-flight in this. So the customer that uploads, the print buyer that uploads files, then the file is pre-flight directly. So there's no need to wait to go through to the server or anything like that. That is built in for sizes, number of pages, colors, fonts, RGB, but RGB is not really an issue anymore. What we can do with this, of course, we think it works best with Apogee prepress, of course, but it does also work with others. We have we can deliver the content of the documents that came in through the storefront on an FTP server, or we have a client also that can help out with this. It's a lot of things I have to reach in half an hour, so going a bit fast if it's okay. PrintSphere is maybe not a brand new one, but it's one of the new things that we have in PrintSphere. Whoa. That's the one I want to show. So PrintSphere, yeah, data sharing. So a lot of customers is using FTP still. They're using emails to receive data from files from customers. That can be a big mess. Who is taking care of it? If one guy is ill, they came into his mailbox, where is the file? So with PrintSphere, we can put on structure to customers internally in the print shops to share files. It's a bit like Google Drive, others like that, Dropbox, for instance. But we have put our own interface to it. We have a Mac client as well as a Windows client. And it can automatically pick up file as hot folders. So we talked about earlier, you want just to do hot folders, you can do that. You can actually publish a hot folder in PrintSphere for one or more specific customers to be able to go directly to Apogee in position, automatically in position, or a Santi, that's the wide format option we have. The new thing and more exciting thing is not the client. That's the next slide. No, there's more. That's unmentioned already. We have clients for different iOS and Android, so you can actually see the files on your devices, see what's coming in, and there is notification and stuff like that. But what is nice is this. This is to my opinion, a missing link we have had in Agfa for a while, is autopilot. And what can we do with that? That is a scripting. Let me see how much there is like this. Scripting tool, so we can actually analyze files that are incoming. And here are some samples of what we can do with them. So this is small things, yeah, but it can make big difference. What is nice is that these sample files is sample files. So what we can do is we can actually have you, or we can help you out, creating more specific scripts to be able to optimize your receival of files. So if you don't have an MIS system, or you want to integrate to an MIS system and need tools to convert files on the fly, that can be possible with PrintSphere Autopilot. So if we have a file coming into one folder and an XML file to another one, that will be picked up by PrintSphere. It will create the job based on the information in the XML, take the PDF file itself, put into the correct folder of Apogee for imposition. It will send a report that are going to the CSR, but also as a confirmation back to who else uploaded this file automatically. So that is just another sample of what we have. And I have more samples if you want to look at it as well. It's built on JavaScript, so feel free to use it yourself, hire programmers, whatever is needed. So with this one, combined with JDF, you can do a lot more than what we could before we had the autopilot. And this is a cloud-based solution only, so there is no installation, there is no hardware needed. It's just using it from the internet directly. Any questions to Autopilot? Have you heard of it before? No, probably not. Web approval, been around for a while now. Online approval of pages is also getting more and more needed because you want to faster upload, faster approval of pages without having to email things to a customer. So now you can just email a link to the approval of the pages. And of course, it's pure HTML5. Also, as the storefront, we have built in pre-flight. So you can see by marking in a pre-flight where the problem is, or the issue, if you want to put it that way. So for customers, the view is like this, or can be like this, just all the jobs that are present in the system, approved pages. A new function that we have is we can now show foldouts. So you have books or covers with multiple pages, 6 pages cover. We can now show that this fold inside and out, or whatever way it's folding. Even the spine can be shown as a separate page. It requires that it is sent to the system as separate pages to be able to show the fold out. But we do also support normal spreads, obviously, but then we cannot show the folding. But it can be shown in the same job. So one job list, one approval cycle for the print buyer to approve a book or a magazine. Pre-flight is obviously there, have to be there, but also support for language versions, logo change, for instance, if it's a magazine that need to go out from from brand owners to different shops, so they have their own logo on the back page. That is possible as well. What is new as well is that not only can you start the job from a JDF or directly in the client, but you can also now from the browser start the client itself. the browser client, start a new job. So even the print buyer can do that if you allow it, based on template that you select for each customers. And they will upload the files, approve the files, and then it can be ready to be plating. The last one in this row is the Webflow client. That's the internal client. And here comes the press tune into visibility, is that you have the score of the press tune will be shown here. So how much is it compared to the ISO standard? Is it within the specs or not? So that's independent from the web approval, because web approval is external and Webflow is a basic client, browser-based. Short of time now. So run list view. Of course, you can see per sheet instead of just pages 1 to 64. Then you're going to do this. I have to speed up a little bit. The prepress itself is next. We have been around for a while with Apogee prepress. We are now at version 11. We have Apogee Print Engine 5.0 now, pitched up to 2018. Raster compare, auto density bar, stuff like that. Yeah. But we also talked about ganging earlier. What is needed is that you need to gang jobs, merge them together. We call them merge jobs. But you also need to start the jobs from hot folders. So we now have hot folders where we just based, say, what kind of imposition, what is the sheet size. If it's digital, is SRA3, for instance, or it can also be for the offset presses. And then we just drop files in there, and then you'll get them auto-imposed. And it will automatically read the number of pages. It will automatically read the size of the page. So no need to have hot folders for different sizes anymore. It's just one folder for that SRA3. It can be nested or it could be cut and stack, for instance. Cut and stack is now also an option in our software. We have booklet printing. We have in the same job both digital and offset imposition in one job. So one approval again, even though that you're going to print it to different presses. The merge function is, again, if you use the hot folders and you find out that, or any other job could be JDF, then you can start merging jobs. So this is trying to show you that different jobs, you see this is the order numbers or the job names, and they are merged on one plate. So it's easy for you to just select jobs. The system will then tell you which one has the same paper. It will read the amount that have been set up for the jobs. And you can mix both impositions that have books, saddle stitch, perfect bound, and then unbound job as well in one job to save plates and paper, of course. Last one. We have just to show what we did at a customer in Denmark, Coolgray. We converted them for a Heidelberg workflow back to Apogee with automation. We took the JDF file that was meant for from the Heidelberg workflow. We converted that automatically on a fly into Apogee through JMF. So everything that was there, page count, paper size, page size, grammage, thickness, and all that was part of the JDF file. And we used those information to automatically select all settings for the press, for the CDP, plate size, press curve, so no operator intervention at all. And furthermore, since they had a structure that was very specific, we could read the customer name and then thereby point straight into their folder structure to pick up the PDF file automatically. So in that case, there was not much work for the operator to do. Of course, if imposition was missing or incorrect, they changed it. But that's it. And what we do is every time you make a change, it will automatically follow every settings there is for the press. So there's no need to set line ruling, for instance. That will follow the paper type automatically. Yep, that's okay. Yeah, I thought that. Only 3 slides left, so that's okay. No problem.
Yeah, so I think you have so many products.
Yes.
And so many good solutions. So there's an opportunity to see all of this, right?
Yep.
In the discovery shop.
Yep, there is.
So I think we understand, and I can also now understand for you as a challenge by having all these products in your portfolio.
Yep.
It's a challenge for you. Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Welcome.